Our next performer is Bill Manishor, who has been a member of Seaside since the early 90s. Besides being an artist and award-winning graphic designer, Bill has been doing stand-up comedy for many years, appearing at several comedy clubs around San Diego. Here he is now, Bill Funny Manishor.
Thank you very much, Anita. Well, it is certainly a great pleasure for you to see me here this evening. I was absolutely thrilled when I was invited to speak here, and that's because I'm married, and so I'm usually invited to listen. Now, I asked my wife, Gail, if she would mind typing up my notes for me, and as she went through my notes, to just eliminate anything she didn't think was funny. So in conclusion, I want to thank you very much and good night. Hey, I'm back by popular demand. Many famous Bible stories have left out some very important details. So as a public service this evening, I'd like to fill in some of those details for you. The story of Lot's wife being turned into a pillar of salt, are you familiar with that at all? Well, there were two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were inhabited by a lot of very naughty people. And God didn't like that, so he decided he's going to destroy those cities, but he's going to save Lot and his family because they were good people. So he said to Lot, he said, now gather up your family and leave Sodom, which Lot did, but he was very unhappy about this because he had a very successful business in Sodom. He had a used car business. He was a salesman, and he was affectionately known as a used car Lot. So as the family left, God said, now nobody turn around and look back, because anybody who does that will be turned into a pillar of salt. Wouldn't you know it? Lot's wife looked back, and now God, being a very loving God, said, okay, I'm going to give you a last wish. So she said, I'd like a cup of coffee. So now they're walking along the road, and there's a Starbucks. So she goes in and gets her latte, schmate, whatever, comes back out, and God turns her into a pillar of salt, after which her blood pressure went right through the roof. So, now I'd like to talk about Jonah and the whale. Now, Jonah was, what is going on here?
That's what I'd like to know.
Well, this is the middle of the Seaside talent show, and I'm entertaining.
Yeah, well, that's your opinion.
Would you please come over here so we could all see you? Why, it's Marty Klein. And I know a lot about this guy.
Oh, yeah? Like what?
Well, for instance, I know that his ancestors came west in a covered wagon. And when I saw pictures of them, I know why that wagon was covered.
Well, I got some dirt on this guy, too. I happen to know that on his wedding night, Bill sat in a chair staring out the window all night because his mother told him it was going to be the most beautiful night of his life.
Marty comes from a Jewish background. His parents were Reformed Jews. And so instead of sending him to kindergarten, they sent him to reform school.
It didn't work. This guy, more dirt, this guy is so paranoid. He thinks the whole world is against him. But it's not true at all. Switzerland is neutral.
When Marty finally got out of reform school, at the age of 31, he got a job in a wax museum, but he got fired because he kept turning up the heat.
Yeah, you ever been through a Chicago winter? Despite his bad jokes, I'm here to tell you I have never heard anyone say a single bad word about Bill. It usually takes several paragraphs.
For some reason, the small town that Marty came from decided to put up a statue of him in the park. But then they voted against it because they just didn't want to scare those poor pigeons.
Here's a guy who started at the bottom and stayed there.
Marty practices TM. Day in, day out, day in, day out. He practices TM. Total mediocrity.
Look at this body. Look at the body. Bill decided to will this body to science. But then science found out and they're contesting the will.
Marty, tell me something.
Something.
What side of the street do you prefer walking on?
Well, Bill, there's no question about it. The sunny side, of course.
Hey, me too. Hit it, Melanie. Grab your coat.
And get your hat.
Leave your worries on the doorstep.
Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street.
Can't you hear that pitter pat?
And that happy tune is your step.
Life can be complete
on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid. This rover's crossed over.
If I never had a cent, I'd be rich
as Rockefeller.
Gold dust hat
on the sunny,
yes, the sunny,
on the sunny side of the street.
It's lovely to be optimistic. Thank you. Sunny, funny men.